Well, this is exciting because we have our very first guest of 2014. And as we were talking before we got started, I believe that the magical Tanis Gray is now holds the record for the most visits to the party line. So I think we have to call you Queen Tanis.
I could be down with that.
Yeah,
Yep.
Queen Tanis, and because you are now officially the queen of the party line. So
Wow.
welcome back, Tanis, and
Congratulations.
Happy New Year! Yay!
You too.
I'm so glad to see you today. And I think
And you.
the last time you were here, it was the Citrix was having problems with the video for new Macs, and so we didn't get to see you. We just got to talk to you. So it's nice to see you in your native habitat there.
In the wilds of my office. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm always interested to see the how people work. And I think I told you the story, Debbie Bliss, in her last book when she came to talk about creative cables. There's a picture in the book of her in this beautiful, pristine white office. Everything's color coordinated, and
Which
it's
immediately made me suspicious when you said that.
yeah. And I asked her about it. I said, I want that office, and she said, "Oh, it's a set. My office doesn't look like that. My office is piled up with, books and yarn and swatches and
Which just means you're
drawings
working
and
hard. Yeah, that's
yeah,
good.
which
I feel like I
just
like it.
made me feel a whole lot better about my own personal workspace. So it's nice that we actually get to see you surrounded by the tools of your trade.
The stuff. Yeah, and there is indeed a lot of stuff. I warned my husband when we got married that crafters come with a lot of stuff. So
Yeah, it's true. And I'm always suspicious of people who tell me their stash will fit in like a little Tupperware bin or something.
yeah, that I don't understand that. It's kind of a
Yeah.
does not compute moment. Yeah.
No,
I don't know.
I bet everyone in this room has yarn in more than just a Tupperware
I
bin.
would hope so. I'd be a little disappointed if we couldn't pull our resources and open like a Webb's size yarn store.
Oh, I suspect. Yeah, Connie says she has a yarn room. You go, girl. So, yeah, I once interviewed a crochet author who keeps hers in a little saver bowl, her stash, and I thought, how is that
Oh,
possible? How is that possible? I have, yeah, it's just,
that's like
yeah.
when the Peanuts cartoons when the adults talk and it's like womp 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 womp
It's
womp.
like,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
like what is that? How is that possible to have that little stuff? Though granted, crochet hooks take up a lot less space than all the different variations of knitting needles with the different lengths and the different points and the different
yes, and that's
fibers.
all
But
used.
oh my goodness, yeah. So I'm glad we actually get a chance to see you. Oh no, Candy says she has a yarn room and the extra is hidden in the trunk of her car.
That's pretty. We share a
That's
car.
good.
I have a friend who keeps hers in her oven because she doesn't cook,
Hey,
which
it's a useful
is
space.
I mean, highly flammable, slightly disturbing, but kind of genius when, you need that extra oven-sized space for your yarn stash.
Yeah, when you think about it, I mean, I have a warming drawer in my kitchen, which goes empty except at Christmas, when I have company over. So,
Well,
yeah,
maybe we just gave you a good idea
and for
then.
for the stuff you want to get to when because that's in the downstairs of my house, my home office is upstairs, and I just didn't think about storing yarn in there. All right, so we
You
got
could put
some
in a
we got some
dumbwaiter
ideas
and
here.
yeah, you have a whole system that you could work on.
Yeah, every empty little space, and it's a good reason not to cook. By the way, if you keep it in your oven, it's a really good reason not to cook. So you go, Candy. So I love that. So you're back with us because you released, and actually the winter you released two books. You were here to talk
Yeah,
about the was
knitting
it
architecture.
that was it was the last one that you were here to talk about, and then this one, which is it just started snowing here just a few minutes ago. And so this book, with
That's
its
apropos.
fabulous, yeah, quick, chunky knits, for those of us who, I don't even have a knit hat for myself. I don't know what the heck, I just don't knit for myself a lot. And
Yeah, I hear you on that.
yeah, so it was funny. Mary says she has a craft room full of yarn, and her cleaning lady tells her to get rid of get rid of
I
it.
think
And
the cleaning lady is plotting to steal all her yarn.
I think so
That's
too.
sounds like
Candy says she should fire the cleaning lady. I agree because clearly this woman's priorities are completely screwed up. I would not trust her in my house. But so back to cozy knit. So this is actually all using Cascades Pacific and Pacific Chunky, which are
it
really
is.
wonderful yarns. Tell us about the choice to use these yarns.
Well, the thing about Cascade is that they are widely available,
Mhm.
definitely countrywide. I mean, we were on a trip to Alaska one year, and we were in the middle of nowhere, and the yarn shop had a ton of Cascade. And so I wanted a yarn that, regardless of where you live, you could find. And I also wanted to kind of cover a wide array of skills because a lot of people might be afraid to kind of make that leap into. We were talking about brioche yesterday. Maybe Fair Isle kind of scares you a little, or lace, but they're all kind of designed to have easy access to the yarn, and it's superwash, which being a mom, I'm kind of a fan of.
Yeah.
And
And especially for gift knits, you don't want to knit anything that people are going to throw in the washing machine and
right, and I mean, I've seen so many things ruined by
yeah.
friends who have thrown them in the wash, and it's hard to get mad because they're not knitters, and it was my own fault for knitting in a hand dyed cashmere or something. But I just wanted it to kind of be an everyday kind of book, so that it spans all skill levels, and there's stuff for beginners and for experts. So it's kind of an ideal book. You always find something, and it's 50 projects, so
Yeah, so
you're not
there's
going to.
it's pretty hard not to find something that you're going to want to knit. And the nice thing about chunky yarns and smaller projects is they're so quick that when you want
And
to you
portable.
yeah, and if you want to do something where you want to start it on Saturday and wear it on Monday, you're good to go, which is really
Right.
really really nice. So, yeah, so and I just love this color picture because she looks toasty warm. And it's
Yeah, I love
and
whatever
and
she
and
comes
one of the
with. Yeah.
things I love about Cascade is the millions of colors
Yeah,
basically that it
that's another
comes in.
thing. Yeah, I'm a big color snob and a yarn snob, I'll admit. And sometimes you want, a shade that's just a hair lighter or darker, and they do have that option, which not all companies do. So I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, I don't think they have anything that comes in less than 100 colors, which is
Yeah,
just crazy. And I think the Cascade 220 is up to like 400 colors or something
yeah.
now, which
They should
is
rename it to like Cascade 3000 or something. That
yeah,
sounds
it's
like a
awesome. It's
fun. Yeah.
awesome. So, well, let's take a little peek at the book. One- And I pulled some projects out so we can talk about the different sections of the book and the projects in them. And Connie says she loves to do cables. I agree. A lot of bang for the
I
buck on
love cables.
cable.
And this yarn has really nice stitch definition, so cables particularly look good. Are people having a sound issue?
I think a couple people have lost sound, but I think it must be local to their computers.
Yeah, probably.
So, okay, so we'll plow on and hopefully the people who've I guess I'll tell them if you lost sound because I can't if I tell them they won't hear it. I'll just tell them to log out and log back in. Okay, so the first section in the book is hats, which are kind of my go-to. I need something quick for a gift project, which I think
Yeah,
for a lot of people
everybody
as
needs
well.
a hat. Hair, no hair, old, young. I love hats.
Yeah, I
And
mean, in boys, girls, I mean, men, women. It doesn't. I mean, everybody needs hats, and even if you live in Florida, people wear them as a style statement.
yeah,
So, not necessarily keep your head warm, but so tell us. I just picked three of the projects out of the hat section, which has quite a few hats in it. Obviously, since the book has 50 projects in it, there's a lot of projects you're not going to see today on the preview. And so so I pulled things out that I love. So that's that's the whole thing about being the pro queen. So tell us about the hats
so
we're
I was
looking
looking
at.
at. Um, I really like the one in the upper left because color work of any kind is my favorite, and that's just kind of a fun hat. It's unisex, and you can really kind of use any colors. It kind of works. It's fun. It's slip stitch color work, and I really like that one. That's probably my favorite hat in the book.
Yeah,
And
it's
then
really just that diamond shape is really sharp. And so this is done slip stitch for people who don't are scared of Fair Isle, which I say don't be scared of Fair Isle because Tanis taught me how to do it two-handed at a class at Vogue Knitting, and which just changed my knitting life because I love Fair Isle knitting. But so don't be scared. And there are some there's Fair Isle in the book. But
yes,
this hat is such a classic for boys or girls. It doesn't read men's or women's hats. I guess it depends on what
and
color you do it in, but it's really,
I mean,
really
it's just
sharp.
knitting and purling and slipping. So if it's a good kind of getting your feet wet into color work beyond just striping, if you're not ready to take the plunge into Fair Isle, and it looks really impressive. It's got that. It's hard to see in the small picture, but it's got texture and color. So I mean, it's a really, I think, just kind of a classy hat.
And I love projects where if you give them to somebody, they look so complex that they think you're a genius when you know
Yeah,
how really
you
easy
kind
it
of pat yourself
was.
on the back. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, oh, if you only knew. So yeah, and Bernadette says these hats are too cute, and Kate says she really loves the blue one, which maybe we'll talk about that one next because that's really a beautiful design on the crown of that hat.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. It's kind of a slouchy hat, which they're always kind of in style. Everyone
Yeah.
likes a slouchy hat, especially the tweens I find and the teens. You know, if you go into like Urban Outfitters, you could buy a hat like that for $90 or something ridiculous. So just make it yourself, and it's got a really nice like twisted brim, which you can't really see in that picture, but it looks good on everyone. I have a lot of hair, so I could stuff all my hair in there, and it's a nice texture. And the decreases, I like when the decreases are hidden in the pattern, like
Yeah, you
the
don't even see them on
swan.
this. It just looks like that starburst on the back.
Yeah. So there it's I hate to call it a mullet hat, but it's business in the front and a party in the back. There's kind of a lot of fun things going on in that hat. So I like that.
Yeah, it's really pretty, and I love that kind of the sort of woven look of that knit and pearl on the front part of the hat is really lovely. So,
I get to name them all, and I've always liked bad puns. I just come from a family of bad puns. So making this one's called Hammer Time, but making the titles is always kind of a fun part of the editing process of coming up with kind of cute, clever little
names
things.
for it. Yeah. And Connie was saying that hats are such a great surprise gift for people because you never have to ask them what size they
Right.
wear, right? You're not
Yeah.
knitting it to fit their
It's gonna
shoulders
fit.
or their hips or
Yeah,
yeah.
and you can wear it forever if you lose a lot of weight or gain a lot of weight. It is it's kind of my go-to gift is a hat because everyone needs a hat, like we said earlier.
Well, and everybody's got a head. So,
Yes.
right? So everybody's got a head, so it'll be useful. So, and the cable trim on the brim of this green hat is so sharp. So tell us about this one.
This is a kind of a fun knit because you knit the brim first as a long piece, and then you flip it and you do the hat part on top of it. So if you haven't worked like that, it's kind of a fun way to work. Just a little bit different. And that one comes in men's and women's sizes, which
Yeah, because
is
there's a beanie version of this, right, that has a little
yeah,
less slouch to it. So,
right. Yeah, and
which
it also kind of depends on the amount of hair you have. Like I always tuck mine underneath my hat when I'm walking
yeah.
the dog or out with my son, so I like the option of having more space in there.
Yeah, I agree too, because I have really thick hair. So, and Connie asked, is this hat worked in the round? Are you picking up off that band and working in the
Yeah,
round?
you knit the band first, and it's about that big. It's almost like knitting a scarf, and then you'll join it and then pick up along the long edge and work off of that.
Very nice. Really,
Yeah.
really sharp. And if you want to do a his and hers gift too, you could do it in different colors and do the beanie version and the slouchy version as well.
Or a family of hats. Yeah, maybe for your next holiday card or something.
Wouldn't that be great if everybody was wearing a hand knit hat in your family pictures?
Now I have an idea for next year. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, am I? Oh, I think because I typed somewhere. There we go. All right. So, and of course, you wouldn't have cozy knits without something to keep your fingers warm.
Yes. It's another kind of in the same vein as hats, as they'll pretty much always fit the recipient if it's a gift. So that's important, especially if it's a friend across seas or someone you haven't seen in a while. It's going to fit them.
Yeah, and given the frequency at which most of us tend to lose gloves, maybe I'm just speaking for myself. I need to really run a string between mine and between my but through my sleeves, like
That's
my
definitely
mother did when I
helpful.
was little. Is you kind of never can have too many of them. And when I posted the link to our Planet Pearl page for this book, um, the Scandinavian ones, the large picture, which when I saw it, I didn't even have to look to know this was Mary Jane Mucklestone had done these gloves because she is my Fair Isle hero and was on to talk about her two books that she did last fall. So her most recent books, but the is these got a lot of love. And I think what's great about these small projects like this is if you are new to Fair Isle or stranded knitting, this is a great place to start, I think. Would you agree? Like on little mitts like this? Tanis, did we lose you? Oh, hang on. Let's see.
Hello,
Hey,
I'm
Tanis,
here.
are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. I thought we lost you for a second.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
I'm getting feedback though. Tanis, are you using your computer speakers?
I am.
Okay.
I'm not moving.
Oh no, now it's good.
Okay.
So, okay, so tell us about what we're looking at here.
The Fair Isle ones, the Mary Janes, I really like, and I kind of chose traditional colors, um, just to kind of I wanted them to be a very traditional Fair Isle pair, and they're knit in the round, from the cuff up, and then you do the thumb, and they are, like you said, a really good introduction to Fair Isle. And I wasn't hesitant about choosing an off white because of it is a superwash. So if your hands get dirty, you just throw them in the wash.
I love that. So tell us about the blue mittens at the top.
I really like those too.
Yeah, the cables are beautiful.
Yeah, they're just something different. Some people don't like to have texture on their hands. I do, and I like the cable on the cuff, and then how it kind of twists up into the cable on the body.
Yeah, that's really sharp how they that worked in that way. And Connie says that she's made a lot of wristers and everyone likes them. And it's another thing where you don't have to know how big people's hands are.
Yeah,
So,
and you don't have to deal with knitting the tops and the decreases, and if you've knit gloves,
so
I don't really like knitting gloves. It's just a lot of fuss with all the fingers. So
yeah,
I
it's a little more. It's way more fiddly than knitting mittens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so I like wristers too. I wear them when I drive, when I walk the dog, when we're at the playground. They really are, um, they're nice because you can still dig in your purse because we all have lots of crap in our purses, and you can
Yes.
find them because your fingers are mobile.
Yeah, and your fingers are always functional, which is nice, especially if you have small kids, um, because you need your hands. Otherwise you're just taking your mittens and your gloves off constantly. So
And that's when you lose them. Yeah.
yeah,
So
it's nice that you don't have to take anything off to actually use your fingers or to use your phone or yeah. And actually, Connie says she knit her first gloves this year. It took her an hour for every finger.
yeah,
So
and even just weaving in the ends and closing the gaps.
yeah, it's a lot more work than knitting
I'd rather
fingerless
have something
gloves.
fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank God for fingerless gloves because they are certainly a lot easier to manage. So, and then there's a section of things that keep your neck warm. So, so I pulled a couple of projects because this includes scarves and cowls and shoulder wraps and ponchos and it's kind of a whole collection of things that'll keep your neck warm in the wintertime. And actually, if you knit them in a lightweight yarn, see, like for me, that the cowl, I mean, you could knit that in a really lightweight cotton, and you could wear it in warmer weather as well. So, but so tell
Right.
us about what we're looking at.
Well, the larger one I like, 'cause like you said, you can knit it in a different material, and you can easily kind of fold it up and throw it in your bag. Um, if you're in the knitting industry, there was a big trade show over the past weekend, and it was in California. and I'm in Virginia, so there's a big temperature shift. So it's nice to have something like that where you can kind of fold it up and shove it in your bag. And even in the summer, like if I go to the movies, they always have the air
Oh
conditioning up
yeah.
so high that I almost always bring a shawl or a cowl or a scarf to kind of keep me warm while I'm at the movies. So they are kind of year round if you're like me and you always have your neck get cold. But I like something small that I can fit in my bag wherever I'm going.
Yeah.
And I like the one on the left because it's again slip stitch color work and it's just reversed halfway through. So it's enough to give it some interest, and it's kind of classy. I like it
I do too,
a lot.
and a very actually a pretty simple knit as well. I'm assuming this is just knit in the round.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is
in
the
a
same
slip
thing.
stitch pattern. Yeah, and you
And
could
that
make
would
it
also be
really graphic with a with the like a black and white kind of graphic, or you could do it in colors that are closer to each other, and it could be really just very
right.
subtle and elegant. So
Or even a variegated and a solid, and it's a good stash buster because you can split halfway through, and you need a little bit more of one. And sometimes we have those weird little bits of yarn left that we don't want to throw away, and so that would be a good project for it.
throwaway yarn. Oh, heaven forbid. Heaven forbid. Yeah. So I don't know why when I first saw this, I saw this in two shades of lilac in my head, and I thought, oh, maybe I'm gonna that maybe that's
Really?
where my brain wants me to knit. It wants me to knit that
Yeah,
in two shades of lilac, which of course, since it's Cascade, I will have my choice of 40 shades of lilac,
that's true. Which is a good
which is a
thing.
good thing. There's no such thing as not enough color choices. So and then of course there's a section on larger projects like shawls and sweaters. And
Yes.
so tell us what we're looking at here.
Well, I like the big sweater. We had talked a little bit about that yesterday, how brioche is really coming back. And it's also, I know, mysterious to a lot of people. And once you kind of get it, I learned how to do it off a YouTube video. Um, Might have been yours. Did you do a brioche video,
No,
Beth?
but I've gotten probably 5 or 6 emails from people asking me if I would please do one.
Oh, there you go.
So I've noticed people really love brioche, and there are a couple projects in the book. There's a two-color brioche scarf, which is quite lovely, and yeah, Candy's saying she loves brioche too. People, I guess, once they start figure it out and it makes sense to them, they just fall in love with the stitch.
It's addicting. It is. Yeah. It's a little different than a rib. It's not as stretchy and it pops a little bit more. It's more of a graphic knit than just a regular, like that sweater is a one by one. But I liked the sweater especially because the cuffs are knit in one direction, similar to the tam with the cable going across here we talked about a little earlier.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. And I like the big neck because you can kind of wear it up or you can fold it down. And this yarn is so squishy that it's such a nice you just kind of want to hug the sweater. There's some things you just want to hug.
Yeah,
It's one of
and
those.
this looks like one of those sweaters that you toss on at every opportunity. That you
Yeah,
just throw it on over a t-shirt and you're out the door. So it's really lovely, and the that light color really shows off that brioche as well.
yeah, it does. Yeah, it looks really nice. It looks, if you're not familiar with brioche, there's all sorts of different variations, but this is the most basic, and there is a scarf in brioche too. So it's a good way to start. This sweater is knit in the round, so you can up to the armpits, and then it's split. But it's definitely a good way to kind of wade into brioche knitting if you wanted to try it.
Yeah, it's really pretty. And Candy says she loves that sweater. So tell us about because there are a few shawls in the book, and so tell us about the two shawls we're looking at.
Yeah, there are a few, and because this is a chunkier yarn, lace looks totally different, in a chunkier yarn. So the shawl on the upper left is kind of designed to just have a little edging of lace. It's again a first great lace project if you wanted to try, and the body will still keep you warm because it's stockinette. And then the bottom one is nice too because it's more that slip stitch color work. So it's a big triangle to keep you warm, but there's some kind of fun detailing of the color work and the edging is really nice. You could also do it in a couple different colors. You could stripe different colors in there and make it kind of a rainbow if you wanted.
Yeah,
So there's
really, really pretty.
there's
And there's
also
something so
room.
modern about to me about doing lace in a chunky yarn. It just looks so
Yeah,
much more modern. And for like my daughter-in-law is definitely a modern New York girl, even though she was raised in Iowa. But I offered her basically a wedding ring shawl for her wedding, and she said, "No, I love all the chunky things you've given me." So
interesting.
I think it's just a more modern look. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
really,
we lived in New York City for like 7 years or something, and that in black or charcoal would be great to just kind of wrap around your neck when you're commuting. So a lot of the
yeah,
subways are outside, and you get cold and you walk everywhere. So yeah, a nice thick lace scarf would be nice.
yeah, or even keep it on the back of your chair at your office because it's the same thing. Once the air conditioning goes on, even in the summertime, and especially I've noticed in New York, they overheat and they overcool all their
Yeah.
buildings.
Yeah.
So, even here in Florida, we have the same thing. Although I'm not in Florida right now, but when in is that the air conditioning is really turned up in the summertime, and even though it's 105 degrees outside, indoors you need a little something to
Yeah.
take the chill off. Yeah. So, but that's really pretty, and it's such a nice use of that lace trim.
Yeah,
So,
and
and
it's not over the top. I love a hardcore lace shawl as much as anyone. And sometimes you don't want that. Sometimes you want a quick knit with just a little hint of lace, and that's kind of enough to get it out of your system. So,
yeah, exactly. So you get the effect without all the work.
yes.
So yeah, because full on
Well, it's a good
laces.
gift. Maybe it sounds awful, but I have like tiers of knitting for gift people. Like my mom who taught me how to knit would get a wedding ring shawl or something hardcore with beads. But someone else who I love but might not want to spend as much time, this would be a good solution. It's still elegant, but they might not appreciate the work that goes into a full-on lace shawl. So it's a nice gift shawl.
No, I think we all have tiers. There are the people that are the closest to us that, that we do something really special for when we're knitting. And then there's the groups of people that we love, but maybe aren't going to spend 150 hours on their project. So,
Yeah.
yeah. And this
So
is a,
everything in this book could be good for both tiers. You find the one that works for the recipient and for as much time and yarn as you have to spend on.
Yeah, that's true because of the investment of in yarn as well. So, and Connie says it is that the shawl is a great gift because it looks really detailed, which I think that's the nice thing about this kind of a project is people who don't knit are going to look at that lace and think you are a genius, right? So,
Right.
yeah, so it looks detailed, but it isn't too time consuming. And I think, unlike the spider web shawls, which, you know, I mean, clearly that's a total labor of love. So,
Yes. Yes. Well, and
yeah.
throwing some beads would be pretty too. I like to put beads in shawls,
Oh, yeah.
just on the border, and with a chunky shawl, you could really get some nice bead action going on there.
Yeah, because and that yarn is heavy enough to be able to manage a larger bead,
Yeah.
so
And if it's just on the bottom, it actually helps kind of keep it on you, weight it around, just a hint of beading.
yeah, and keep it from sliding off.
Yeah.
So, keep it weighted down on the edge. And then there's the last section of the book is, home decor and some children's items and kind of everything that didn't fit in another category. So,
Yes.
Connie says this is fun for the baby's room and that she loves the blanket. Kate says she loves the blanket, which is, that's the an Afghan is a big project. So these are
Yeah.
nice, the little throws. Tell us about these.
Well, the nice thing about a baby blanket, and you could do this in any pattern, but when it's a thick yarn and it's a faster knit, you can take any baby blanket and quadruple it. So, you've got a baby blanket here, and then if you want to make it an Afghan, you could make it double wide and then double tall. So these are all kind of designed to be, some of them are baby blankets, some of them are what I like to call a lapgan because it's not necessarily an Afghan, it's not a baby blanket, it's just kind of designed to fit on your lap and keep you warm. And that particular one is a baby blanket, and I designed that one. And the I love the house pillow. That's probably in my top three favorites in the book, just because it's kind of whimsical and cute and fun. Be good for a baby's room, like I think Connie had said, or housewarming gift,
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
maybe someone got married and you could duplicate stitch their names on the door because now they're married. I don't know. It's cute and it's fun and it's also a really good stash buster.
Yeah, and I would love this if you where you did like a button-on wreath where you could change it for the
Oh
holidays
yeah,
on the
please.
door, which would be really cute too.
Yeah, just put a little Velcro on there and you could change it up.
Yeah, so you could do hearts for for Valentine's Day, or a bunny for Easter, where you could decorate the door, which would be really cute.
Well, in the
So,
back is buttoned, so you can take it off, which I love knit pillows, but what drives me crazy is if you can't take it off to wash it. So
I
it's like,
agree.
great, I've used this giant pillow form and I can never wash it. So this one does come off and you can wash it just in case.
Yeah, I have never knit a pillow that I didn't split in the back and button, because the same thing. You know what's going to happen is somebody's going to spill
Right.
something.
Dogs, children, husbands, people. Yeah.
Yep. And it's a little extra work and a little extra knitting, but it definitely pays off when something bad happens.
Yeah. And you feel kind of smug that you were clever enough
Yeah.
to make it remove.
Yeah, I can wash this. So there you go. So there you go. There's a oh, I think I'm so there's the preview of the book. Yay. I love this book. It's got so
Thank you.
many quick and really cute projects in it, and I'm all about quick projects. Although I will admit I had started this year's Christmas on Christmas Day of last year. So I swore I was not going to spend
Yeah.
December madly finishing gift knits.
Good for you.
So
Have you started for next year?
I
This year, I guess?
have. I'm actually on my third hat. I'm making berets
Nice.
from Louisa Harding's last book, and I have 7 berets to make before I start on my Fair Isle beanies for the boys, and I am almost finished with my third beret, and I'm very proud of myself.
You should
But
be.
I think
Good.
this cable beanie is gonna show up on a couple of my male family members next year. So
Good.
so thanks for that help. So for people who wanna track down Tanis, you can find her in many places on the web, many places on the web. And Patricia said, "Great book," and I agree. So many places on the web. So the first place you should go look though is of course Tanis Knits, so that you can also follow Tanis's blog like I do. So, and I know Tanis, you just did a 12 Days of Christmas giveaway.
Yeah, that was exhausting. I have much respect for you and all the other people that do giveaways.
Yeah,
It was a lot of work.
it's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun too.
It
And
is fun. Yeah, mine was
knit
trivia
knit
based.
yeah,
So,
knitters just love free stuff. What can we say, right? We just love free
well, and on
knitting
my
stuff.
blog, I do at least one free pattern a month. So, yeah, I believe in free stuff for knitters.
Yeah. We'd love it. Free or on sale, either way, we're good. So you can follow Tanis at tanisnets.com, which of course is spelled exactly like Tanis's name, which makes it easy. And then you can also follow Tanis on Twitter. And so, who is this cute little thing that we're looking at here?
That is my the yarn shop I teach at, the owner's daughter, and
So cute.
she's really cute. She asked me to design a dress for her Santa pictures. So that is the
Oh,
Madeline dress,
oh,
and
sweet.
yeah, it's really cute. There's so many cute knitted dresses, but I just felt like there was some. They always have the necks are too small, and having a child, they're like lollipops. They have these giant heads
And
and
they
these
hate to
little
have anything pulled over them.
right. So
Yeah.
there's no buttons, and it's really just a easy pop one skein kind of project. So that was fun.
Oh, and speaking of recent designs, I think we need to go down here and look at this.
Oh yes,
So,
the Olympic
so tell us
sweater.
about this project, because this is really exciting.
This is exciting. I do a lot of work with Imperial Stock Ranch, and they supplied the yarn to Ralph Lauren for the Olympics. All the opening and closing uh, clothes that the USA athletes wear.
Oh, let's show
Um,
people what that looks like.
yeah, it's got some moose action and some Fair Isle. It's kind of a classic sweater, and I think they have like 100 available to us civilians who are not in the Olympics. But I designed and knit the official hand knit sweater for Imperial for the Olympics. So I'll be running a knit along on their Ravelry group during the Olympics. You start when the torch is lit, and you finish by the time the torch is extinguished.
Oh
So we'll
my
be knitting,
goodness.
yeah. And it's a
Yeah.
lot of cables, cables within cables within cables. So it's a challenging sweater. And it's unisex, so you don't have to knit it for yourself if you don't want to.
Yeah.
It was fun. It's a fun knit.
Really pretty. So, yeah, this is beautiful. The cable work on this is so spectacular, and I love that it goes up the sleeve as well. I
Yeah.
always love that cables on sleeves. They're just
Need a
something.
little interest. Yeah. I mean, and the back is just plain stockinette, so it's fun.
So the
It's a
work is
bottom
all
up.
up front where people see it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and yeah, Connie says she wants to do it. Is the link on your website? Yes, absolutely.
It
It's on
is.
here.
There's a post in that. Well, the pattern is free, so that's nice too. And don't cheat. We start when the torch is lit. So, and I'll be doing tutorials and step-by-step photos and answering questions if you want to join the knit along.
Yeah, how cool is that? It's just so pretty. And the Olympics start in just a couple weeks, right?
Yeah, and it's such an honor. I mean, I'll never go to the Olympics, so this is my kind of small contribution. So,
Well, and so people have time to get their yarn and
yeah,
get
it's just a
swatching,
roasted
making
sweater.
sure that they're at the right tension, but don't cast on the sweater
Yeah,
until the
you can
opening ceremony,
swatch,
right?
but
You can
no
swatch,
maximum,
but don't
no
knit.
cheat.
No cheating. No
And they'll
cheating.
have like there's medals you can download if you finish, and I think some of the yarn shops they're working with are doing door prizes, so it's fun. If you've never done the Olympic knitting challenge, you should do it.
Oh, cool. Yeah, Candy says it sounds like great fun, and Kate thinks it's a cool idea, which I do too. So, and you
Yeah,
might
it's
want to
fun.
check with your local yarn store to see if they're doing it in house as well. So then you could have
Right, some
company
of
as
them
well while
are.
you're doing it, which is
I'm
always good.
definitely starting to get some emails about, the shops that are doing their own things. Some are yardage based, some are project based. So it's fun. You should do something above your skill level. I think that's the point, right?
Yeah, it's to
To try.
challenge yourself,
Yeah,
right? It's to
challenge.
challenge
Yeah.
yourself. So, yeah, you don't want to do something that you could do in your sleep. It's the Olympics, right? It's where man and woman achieve greatness. So you should achieve greatness in your knitting as well.
In your armchair knitting, yes.
Exactly. So, and it's hours and hours on 40 different channels. So,
Yeah,
you got
it's a
plenty you
lot.
got plenty of opportunities to knit and watch the Olympics at the same time. So, it's good. So, it's a very cool idea. So, I want to make sure we talked about that. So, I'm glad it just like popped into my head. And then, of course, you can, if you're on Ravelry, you can follow Tanis on Ravelry as Tanis Gray. And so this is her design page, and you'll see here this Winter Games pullover. I think if I click on this, it's gonna say something about the knit along, right? Well,
Yeah,
here's where you're gonna yeah, here's the
yeah.
link. You can download it for free as well, but because you'll download it at Imperial Yarns, and um, and I think Tanis, where will they find the knit along?
If they go to the groups section,
Yeah.
Imperial has a group, and I should
Oh,
probably put a
okay.
link there. Yeah,
All
I'll
right.
do that
Okay,
after we get.
so all right, so that they can find the knit along if they want to knit with a Ravelry group.
Yeah,
So, and I know everybody loved this book, right? We love the book, and some lucky person is going to win this book today because
very lucky.
God forbid we have an event, we don't give something away. We give away books to everyone. I love giving away stuff, and
Me too.
Tanis's publisher has kept us well supplied with stuff to give away, which we appreciated for our 12 days of Christmas giveaway. I think half of it came from Interweave. They're
Probably.
yeah,
Yeah,
they're awesome.
they are
So
great.
so the first place you should go, of course, is call your local yarn store to see if they have it in stock because we all support our local yarn stores. And if not, then you can slide on over to Planet Pearl, click on books, which is right up here at the top. Click on books, and you'll see it in our bookstore. So when you click on Cozy Knits, it'll give you not only a preview of some of and there's a couple projects in here that we didn't talk about today. So a preview of some projects, but you can click on this little Amazon link, which actually is a really good price. And
I mean, for 50 projects, yeah, it
yeah, it's
is.
crazy. So you can click on it and we get the tiniest little commission, but it does pay for things like the interface we use for these live events, which is every little bit helps. So we really appreciate that support. So Tanis, I'm sure you got something else going on because I know you're not just sitting around eating bonbons and watching soap operas.
As
I
we
don't. Do they
do.
still have soap
Yeah.
operas? I don't even know if they still have them on TV, but I'm
No,
sure if
I
they
don't
did,
know.
you wouldn't be sitting around watching them.
Yeah, I got two more books lined up with Interweave. One, actually, both have been photographed, I think. So they're both, one's coming out in the end of this year, and one will be spring 2015, which is hard to kind of wrap my
Your
brain
head
around, but
around, yeah.
that's how they work. And one is all three or less skein projects, which is nice because you can definitely pull from your stash or spend the extra money on one really fancy skein of yarn and make that beautiful project. And then the other one is all products in Cascades Longwood yarn, which is a really nice, springy, squishy superwash yarn.
Yeah, and
So
I when we chatted yesterday, I said I that was a yarn I was not familiar with, but I'm going to go track down
I really
and
like it.
and
Yeah.
squeeze it. And and what I really love is that so many really nice yarns are coming out that are actually machine washable
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
for a
It
very
doesn't.
long time we didn't have those kind of options.
Yeah, and I'm working with a lot of new people on that one, a lot of European people, and it's just kind of fun to mix it up, and a lot of adult garments, really nice adult garments, and so it's a fun book. I'm excited about it. I have a free pattern in that yarn, the Isla hat, and go to your yarn shop and give it a good squeeze. It's a nice yarn.
I'll track it down because now I want to put my hands on it. So yeah, and Connie was saying it's great that everything isn't wool for
Yeah.
people who have allergies, which my
Well,
sister's
even
allergic to wool, so I know that's a problem.
Well, and even if you don't, I don't like wool on my head. I just get itchy. So it's nice. It's just nice that we have so many options now.
Yeah, I don't like it around my neck because it's the same thing. I feel like I'm scratching
The
myself all the
FOMO.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So very nice. So well, I'm sure you'll come back because you have to keep your
I have
crown,
that penny. Yes.
right? And we want to make sure you don't lose your crown now that you are queen of the party line, right?
Well,
It's
thank you.
you got to defend that place. So
I will defend my title
so
honorably.
yeah, so I'm sure we'll see you back for the next book, and we do appreciate that you keep us occupied with great knitting books.
Well, thank you.
So
Yes.
thank you so much. I This is such a nice book, and I have family members who will be sporting some of those objects, so
Well,
some of those
great.
projects. So thank you so much, Tanis. Of course, people stay in the room because it's the only way to win a book. You do not
Yes.
want to go away. So, but thank you so much, Tanis,
Thanks for
and
having me. It's
we'll
always
see
fun
you
to be
again
here.
soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.